Well, what we do is we try to go on the road a lot because we don't want people to have to come to LA just to take the test, because roughly only about 10 to 15% of the people in a room of approximately 75 pass the test. So we try to get to all different areas so that people can come and try out a lot closer than, coming to LA. Two things. I love the travel. I love being able to travel, and I think meeting so many people from different walks of life. I mean, they come in here when they're taping the show, and we have people from all different occupations, locales, and you learn a lot about them. It's real interesting to hear them. They ask you all the kind of questions. What happens if I sneeze on the air? What happens if I can't get in on the buzzer? I would make a wonderful contestant as far as understanding how to play the game, when to ring in, answering in the form of a question, but giving the right answers, I don't know if I would be nearly as good. That's where I would fall down.
I mean, I started on this show so long ago. I was young when I started on this show, and that was 1984, the first year I was the booth AD, and I edited the first season. And then I went back to Merv Griffin's show, who created it, for a year, and then 1986 came back here permanent. In 1991, I think, I started directing. When you go on the road and you see 4,500 people going crazy for Alex or crazy for a certain contestant, you feel proud of what you're doing. I think the more aggressive you are on this show, the better off you are. You can't wait till the answer pops in your mind. You've got to say, history, I'm good at this. He reads a question, you ring in, and then you've got to have the presence of mind and the coolness to just pull it out of the air, give the answer, and go on to the next one. He loves what he's doing. He's great with the contestants. He calms them down when they need calming down, and he gets them a little excited when they need to be excited. He's like an arbitrator out there. He's impartial, but he wants the show to be great every night.
The core of Jeopardy is the writing. And fortunately, I have co-producers and head writers, a wonderful staff of writers and researchers who are responsible for the heart and soul of the show, which is the game material itself. We had a lot of the Washington elite compete as our Power Players Week on the show, so that's been fun. We've been to New York. We've got other remotes in the works. That seems to have energized the show quite a bit. Alex Trebek brings credibility to the show, not only in the way in which he hosts it, but by virtue of the fact that he cares so much about the integrity of the show and is such a professional that I think that comes through in his performance. Read everything you can possibly get your hands on. Watch everything that you can possibly watch. Always open up your mind to learning something new in an area that you didn't think you might need to know about, because now with Jeopardy, you will need to know about it.
You have to be well-rounded. You have to be interested in a wide variety of things, and everything from history to sports to what's on today, the cover of today's LA Times. I think it was dead celebrities, but they wouldn't let me do that one. So yeah, but we'll get that in one day.
We had one called Dr. Seuss Meets the Bard, and we had different quotes from Shakespeare as if Dr. Seuss had actually written them, and I thought that was quite amusing. Got a lot of laughs anyway.
The best part of my job is that every day is an adventure, and I don't have to join the Navy for it to be an adventure. Everything we do is exciting, and anything you're interested in can become material to put in the show. There's not an area we won't go to and be interested in as part of the job.
I came to the United States in 1973 to host a show called Wizard of Odds, and I've been very fortunate since then to have been gainfully employed most of the time. I had hosted Wheel of Fortune for a period of 1 week to replace an ailing Chuck Woolery, who was the regular host at that time, and I did that for the Merv Griffin people, and I guess they remembered me, and when they brought back Jeopardy into syndication in 1984, they called me and said, look, we're going to bring back this old game show called Jeopardy. Would you like to host it? And I said, yeah, sure, it's a great show. My job as the host is to provide an atmosphere in which the contestants can do their very best. It's like that U.S. Army commercial, be all you can be. We want our contestants to be all they can be. We want them to do well. We want them to win a lot of money. Well, I come in early on tape day. We usually tape 2 days a week, and we'll do 3 weeks on, 1 week off, that kind of thing. I will start at about 8 o'clock in the morning going over the 5 games that we will be taping that day. I look at all of the material, all of the clues. If there are words that I'm not familiar with, I look them up in dictionaries. If there are foreign words, I ask our researchers to help me with those.
I met some of the celebrities, including Clint Eastwood and Merv, and from meeting these people, I ended up expressing an interest that I wanted to come to Hollywood and work. There are certain responsibilities that the stage manager does by making sure all those elements are in place, looking at that schedule, and when it comes time to tape a show, make sure that everybody is in its place. And I get on my headset and I can tell the director, I say, hey, we're ready, let's go. Now, the lockout device can be your best friend or it could be your worst enemy. If it's your best friend, you see that there are people who operate that button with such ease, and they manage to get in all the time. The more relaxed a person is on stage, the better they seem to do out there.
Well, my career in show business started a long time ago when I was about 17. Started out as a singer, professional singer, and traveled for years with that. Then I did a stint in the Army in Special Services, and that was also in show business. And then I went to New York in 1960 and been doing television ever since. And I worked as a professional singer for several years, and that helped me an awful lot, by the way, in television, because I studied with a classical singing teacher, and that helped me with the breathing and how to use the voice and so forth. I did The Price is Right with Bill Cullen, one with Burt Parks called Yours for a Song, and then I worked with Dick Clark on the $25,000 Pyramid for a long time, John Davidson on the $100,000 Pyramid, did the Dinah Shore program for 8 years with the wonderful Dinah Shore, and of course Circus of the Stars and People's Choice Awards. And I've been doing a show for the last several years that the kids really love called Supermarket Sweep, along with Jeopardy. I think the main thing that is they're updated now by all types of computer systems and so forth. The original Jeopardy, for instance, they had people standing behind the board raising cards to reveal the responses. And now we have about 9 different computer systems that run the show. Probably the most fun really is when Alex and I are out in front of the audience sometime, carrying on a lot of kibitzing and that type of thing. Working with the live audiences is fun. For kids 10, 12 years old, our teen tournaments are wonderful, the college tournaments are exciting, all the way up through the seniors. So everybody can watch the show and be involved in it. Now, Jeopardy, you know, is different from other shows. On The Price is Right, if somebody wins a refrigerator, they get hysterical, crying, jumping up and down, and grabbing the host. On this show, you can win $50,000 and you shake Alex's hand. I was so delighted, and when we found out we were going on the road, we have our second set now so we can travel with it. And there we're dealing with 3,000, 4,000 people in the audience for every show. And it's such a thrill because they're so anxious to see how we do Jeopardy. Most of them will never ever have a chance to come into the studio.